All right, welcome to a potentially kick-ass version of Chaos and Bang Your Earballs Canadian Women Narcissism Show.
Biggity bang.
All right, I'm Paul Carter.
I'm Jamie Lewis.
And I'm Jay near A.
A
A.
so all right, so we're trying to stay on topic here. I think we're going to do a good job with this one. And
Wait, I'm going to get us off topic for 1 second and just say, what is a Kansas City colloquialism? So Canadians all say A. We say yo in Philly. What do you say in Kansas City? You guys have anything you say?
no, I mean there's not really anything, and not to mention I'm from the South, so I'm just kind of a
You guys,
I'm a
you guys
transplant.
just grunt incoherently and put a horrible twang on everything.
I'm not from here, so I don't know.
All right.
We literally were 12. We got 12 seconds into that one before you sidetracked us. That's pretty good. All
I,
right.
Why you gotta be so
I
dark?
literally, I was poised and ready. I was like, I'm going to get this one right off track.
All right. So Jay wanted to talk about narcissism that exists in our present day society, and I wanted to talk about Canadian women. So we're going to try to. I guess maybe we can have a combination of those topics kind of come together. So Jay, kick us off with the your bit on narcissism because you kind of wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, it came from that when we were watching posts of that I want to go to the lake girl.
Right.
Because I'm looking at her and like this girl's so fucking narcissistic. She's crazy. She's infantile ego going on like crazy, and yeah, I just wanted to get into it.
So I think the key word that we got back to, and this will probably help to get the topic going a little bit, is the one word that you and I both like to use a lot, that we've both talked about a lot, is entitlement.
Yes,
And that seems to be the most prevalent problem, I think, today in society with young people. And, God forbid that we're going to get, we're going to be labeled, woman haters on the show, which obviously we're not. We all love women to a unhealthy degree. So I just want to say, but it seems like women these days, especially, and some will even admit to it that I've talked to, have a severe degree of entitlement. And that is that I hear the word deserve thrown around a lot. And, you kind of get that from the girl that I want to go to the lake. And that's, she feels like she deserves. I think she probably even said that during the ranting bit. That,
She definitely said that.
she deserves. I deserve this, or I deserve. There's a lot of I deserve. I've even heard women say this before. I deserve someone that's going to be good to me. I deserve a man that's going to be great to me, and I deserve this. And I deserve that. One of the things I read a while back is that the only thing that you deserve is what you can take and what you can hold on to.
There was a powerlifter. I don't remember what the hell his name was. Maybe it was no, it wasn't Scott Mendelson. He's now a CrossFitter, but he had a great tattoo across the top of his chest, and it said, "Do not demand what you cannot take."
Right. So, Jay, tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are about why the entire, and I have some, I think social media plays a big part in this, but the whole problem that we have with entitlement and narcissism, and why it's so rampant today in society.
well, I think it's kind of like we have this hard, like as socialistic as our society is politically, ideologically, we have this hard individualism lurking, which is awesome, and I love it. But it gets a little bit irrational, in my opinion, because there's like healthy narcissism, like everyone is narcissistic. We all should love ourselves to some degree. We all should have a high self-esteem. But there's this problem when it gets like malignant and psychopathic, where there's this huge false sense or false ego or huge ego that just runs people, and they never learn to tap into other faculties because they're too busy trying to protect their self-esteem from realizing the truth that their inflated ego has kind of sorry man, I'm all over the place, that their inflated ego has propped them up on. So when you see these people, like she says, she deserves to go to the lake. She has this instant gratification. She wants to go there right fucking now. It's like he's saying, well, it's my day to do something. He's like, I need to get my tires rotated. He's like, I need to do this now. and maybe we'll go to the lake later. Like, I don't know what his plans were. Is it Saturday? Maybe they could have gone on Sunday, but I'm pretty sure he's working during the week. He needs to do it now, and she can't just accept it. She can't reason. Instead of sitting there and talking to him, she's losing her fucking shit. So that's crazy to me.
So the thing is that where does this start from though? Because what I see is that a lot of times that this sense of that this overriding sense of narcissism generally starts at the time that people are kids, and it's kind of what I call the princess syndrome that we have in women today. That it starts as a little kid, because like think about this. You ever think about the fact that women grow up on movies, Disney movies, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, all these movies that say, hey, you are supposed to be this princess. This is what you're supposed to be. This is what you're entitled to. The guy that's going to show up and put that glass slipper on your foot. You're supposed to have the princess.
Yeah, and that's crazy. Like, have you ever heard like sentences like out there where people are saying, why can't someone love me just for being me?
I hate that shit. That drives me fucking bananas.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. It's like, no, I'll love you because of who you are, like the virtues you have, the kind of person you are. I'm not gonna love you because you're you. Like, what if you suck?
And not only that, you're never gonna meet a single person out there in your whole life that just accepts every part of you exactly like you are. And not to mention that that's a two-way street. You're going to have to make sacrifices for them. They're going to have to make sacrifices for you. You and I had a kind of a cool little debate about this, about the whole Bob Marley saying, right? Remember that?
Yep.
And it was the Bob Marley saying was basically everybody's going to hurt you, but you have to find the people that are worth sacrificing for, which I agree to an extent. But you made a great point, which was that you're saying, and I want to let you expound on that because I don't want to take your words.
I can't remember the exact sentence I said. I worded it pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, at the time you did. You were very poignant about it, and it was basically to the effect of don't pick the person that's going to be dog shit in your life. Pick somebody that's going to make you fucking happy.
Yeah, that's something that gets talked about a lot on the internet, but nobody ever actually points out how shitty it is. But that's where Tumblr comes in. That's where Instagram comes in. That's where all that shit comes in. Is everybody's so fucking impressed with themselves? They got a Facebook page and an Instagram and all this shit, and I think everybody's hanging on every fucking word that comes out of their mouth and every picture that they put on the internet and every meal that they eat. And it's special snowflake syndrome is what they call it on Stuff You Will Hate. And every single person thinks they're like the most special fucking person that's ever happened in the history of the world. And nobody will ever be more special. And so you should accept everything that they do and every foible that they have and every failing that they have because they're that fucking special and awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, the other part about it is I think, and I mean this could be a whole other huge topic, is that we prop normal people.
Don't get off track, buddy.
I'm not going to. This is the other part. This is pertaining to our topic. Is that think about reality shows, and I don't watch TV anymore, and I hate fucking reality shows with a passion. And the reason,
Thank you.
And the reason why I hate reality shows is number one is that we prop up this behavior by people that I think it's awful. The behavior I used to see on these reality shows, I'm like, people's like, oh, it's like a train wreck. You can't, stop watching. I'm like, well, yes, I can. I'm not going to, because I think these people act like fucking idiots. And I don't want to watch them. I don't want to see them. And I'm kind of, people who love that shit, it makes me sad because I'm like, why aren't you doing something with that time to better your life or, I don't know, find more constructive to do to better yourself? I guess my thing is that we take these people who have no fucking talent and we follow them around on a reality show and we watch their awful behavior and we prop that up as something that's, we essentially glorify it.
I can tell you why that is.
Tell me.
I was at we'll call it an appearance in LA, and I was talking to a man who was not straight, and I was saying to him that it appeared that the people who produced reality television were people who absolutely fucking hated women because they portray women in the most horrible, shitty, money-grubbing, bitchy, catty way. And he affirmed that opinion, and he said, almost invariably, the people who produce those shows are gay men who fucking hate women, and they think it's hilarious how horribly they act. And maybe they're not like trying to fish for guys to try to like go gay or something like that, but they're trying to point out exactly how petty and shitty women can be. And that's the point of those shows.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like today that that's such an overriding theme with females is the entire I deserve. I mean, I just hear this so much. Like I see so many Facebook statuses and so many of those little, those motivational pictures that women put up about, just kind of like Jay said, it's like I want somebody who's going to love me for just exactly how I am. Well, why I gotta love you for all your bullshit ways? It's like that shitty Marilyn Monroe saying is that if you can't take me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. That is the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Yeah,
So
it just gives you an excuse to be your worst more often.
yeah, and to say, well, if you can't take that, well, don't expect that birthday blowjob. Listen, I mean, what it really, the motto really should be is, I'm going to work my hardest to constantly be my best for you, and then I want you to do the same.
Yeah.
That's a better motto for life. Is hey, there's going to be some things I'm going to need to change about myself or my habits, because people really don't change a whole lot, but it doesn't mean you can't change a habit. But inevitably, if you're going to make something work with someone, you have to change habits that make the relationship mesh and mold together. And the problem now I see with so many people as they're coming up is that number one, we emasculate men at a young age now, right? We tell them that it's not cool to be a leader. It's not cool to be a man. It's not cool to be masculine. You know what I mean?
Wait, is that the case in Canada as well?
Oh man, you should see how many guys we got running around looking like the Situation.
Yeah.
You would not believe it.
And here's the thing, and I see this all the time.
Wait, so is that as an emasculated man as the Situation? Because I feel like the Situation, while he is a guy who gets pedicures and shit like that, he's probably like the last bastion of fucking masculinity, where he's just like holding it down in his house. And he's like, yeah, if you don't fucking like it, you can get out. I mean, how many guys do you know who put up with horrible shit? Like, I got a buddy in Birmingham who just moved a chick into his house. He's told me every single story. He's told me this is like, this bitch is insane. She gets in fucking street knife fights and cuts herself and is anorexic and this and that and the other thing. And meanwhile, she just moved into his fucking house. And this is a guy who had a girl steal his dog and fucking shoot herself. But every guy thinks now that, like, oh, I just have to put up with every fucking thing that happens.
Right, and so I guess what I'm getting back to, so we don't get too far into being labeled womanators, is that...
well, I think that every single woman who, like all four women who listen to this, are probably like the coolest fucking chicks on earth, and they're probably nodding along.
Actually, that's actually what I was going to get to. Is that
that's true.
I have a whole segment of people that, and I think you do too, that think anytime we have a take like this, that that our ideas only appeal to like 17-year-old males that have like a fake alpha male status, like in high school, and I really just don't understand that. I really don't even understand where that comes from. Most of my time spent writing or spent conveying a message is that, hey, be a great friend, be a great father, be loyal to the people that you love and care about. I'm not sure how that gets misconstrued as being 17 and 18-year-old bravado for being a quote-unquote fake alpha male. I really don't get it, but nevertheless...
I maybe once in my entire fucking existence on the internet have actually said alpha, other than when I was reviewing a book about how to pretend you're an alpha male.
Well, this is what they've done. Think about this. This is what's happened. The term alpha male has now become kind of like a joke, right? Like, they've taken a term that's supposed to mean, in my opinion, what meant to be a responsible man, right? To be a good father, to be respectable, to be truthful, to be a good friend, to have a good career, to do all of the things what I think a man is supposed to do. It has
you were straight up get along gang today with the friend thing.
Yeah, well, what I mean is that a buddy of mine, we talked about this week, is one of the things you really can't go wrong with is in life. It doesn't matter whether you go to the penitentiary or you go to Harvard. Don't hurt children, You know, women are old people, and don't ever be a rat. And you can pretty much carry those as your basic um, rules of living, and you're pretty much never going to go wrong. So everything outside of that has a certain degree of moral flexibility for people. However, getting back to the entitlement part and getting back to the narcissism part, what we've done is we neutered our males in society, right? Because it's not cool to be a man. I mean, you even see this in movies now. You ever notice, like, the hero in movies? He's always some fucking nerd anymore. He can't take care of himself. He trips over his own 2 feet. He has to find a chick to help him along, help write his shit.
Unless he's Bruce Willis, yeah.
Right, unless he's Bruce Willis. But how many movies do they even make anymore where the male can be like an overriding, dominant? You know what I mean? That's frowned upon now, right?
Yeah, because it makes people feel shitty about themselves.
Right. Nobody wants to feel shitty.
Everyone's turning soft, right?
Right. And so what do? Is that we turn around and give the entitlement portion to women. Is that, hey, you're going to have to be the leader, you're going to have to take care of this shit, so this is what you deserve. So we neuter the males in society, we emasculate the males, and then other males say, hey, it's not cool to be an alpha male, you're just a fucking jerk. I mean, I see guys write that kind of shit.
Yeah, because
every
asserting yourself is being a jerk, right?
Right. Asserting yourself is being an asshole now. It is. You're an asshole. If you have a strong opinion, or if you and I both get this all the time, Jay.
Right.
You can't have a strong opinion about these things.
Oh, people are scared to talk to me about topics all the time.
Right.
All the time. You see my posts. I get it all in Facebook messages. They won't post on the thing. They post in a message because they don't want to get into it in public.
Here we go. Here's one that I don't know if you remember this one. Is that I made a post one day that basically these women who put up these half naked pictures on Facebook and then start making statuses about how men should quit messaging them inappropriate comments. I said, I don't know what you expect when you do that. When you put up pictures of your titties over and over again, and then you get men messaging your inappropriate comments, it's kind of ironic that you're going to do that. I mean, I can't remember my exact status about it at the time, but a guy wanted to reply to me and tell me how ignorant my comment was.
He white knighted you on that.
Oh, but he wouldn't do it. He didn't have the fucking balls to do it. He didn't have somebody sent me a message saying that he was doing it over someplace else, and he didn't have the fucking balls to do it. And that's the point, is that he wanted to think that what I was saying was wrong because I'm saying, hey, all I'm saying was if you're going to show your titties, expect to get some comments about it. But he said I was hating on women.
Which is absolutely completely reasonable, and any reasonable woman would agree. Yeah, if you're gonna flash your fucking tits on Facebook, somebody's gonna say I want to blow a fucking load on your tits. That's the reason why you post that shit on Facebook.
No,
there's no other reason.
Any girl who's gonna have guys like that disrespecting her publicly on Facebook, I mean, she's adding guys who aren't really her friends and don't respect her. So she's asking for it. The same way people are fucking watching reality TV. If you're watching it, you're a consumer, you're buying into it. So,
but even if you respect the girl, if the girl flashes her tits on Facebook, you're going to say, oh, you got nice fucking tits. You might not say, I want to face rape you until you vomit all over my cock or something like that, but you'll at least say, all right, sweet, nice tits. Because that's what she wants to hear. Otherwise, she wouldn't post a picture of her tits on Facebook.
I always tell a chick, I want to face rape you until you vomit all over my cock. That is my go-to line.
That is my number one pickup line in bars. It isn't actually what was the last book you read.
Generally,
generally,
this is how I approach it. I walk up, I'm at the bar, and I punch a bitch in the face.
Jane Eyre style.
A Jane Eyre style of bitch right there at the bar, and then I turn to her good-looking friend next to her. Actually, I use the mystery method in combination with it, because I punch the friend in the face, right? And then
the hot friend, right? The one you want.
Yeah, you were like, that bitch was ugly anyway.
No, I punched the hot friend in the face. I really try to break her jaw. I put as much hip torque into it as possible. I really throw the whole body into it. And then I turn to the friend who I'm not.
Is this a Superman punch, or you just straight up jumping across like you're
No, it's
That's Canadian?
I plant. You know, I mean, it's the back foot's planted. I mean, you know,
Okay, so it's just a straight right. It's not a Superman punch.
it is a straight right, but I really, you know, it's not a fast right. You know, there's some wind up because she's not expecting it. So it's not like I really have to. I mean, I can put some hip torque into it. I can really,
She still duck. She could still duck if she was paying attention.
if she was paying attention. But generally, I'm going to sneak her
There you go.
because I want the friend to see it, but I don't want her to see it. Now you got to remember,
Right.
she's the one I'm after. I'm hot for her. So I'll generally go ahead and punch her in the face as hard as possible, and then I'll turn to the friend, and I always say the same thing every time, which is, Jamie.
What was the last book you read? And if she says the Bible, you just start smashing her fucking face on the bar.
No, no. I tell her
Oh
then.
no, I want to face rape you until you vomit all over my cock.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
feel like I would actually do better with that than what was the last book you read.
That's weird though because you actually have to say that. I just punch the other girl in the face and the other one just gets impressed and drops to her knees.
There you go. That's Jay Neera style.
But that's Jay Neera
so
style.
Beautiful.
That's-
so beautiful.
Jay Neera style. So,
He's literally art in motion.
yeah. And I mean, I've tried that before. So I punch the one girl in the face, and I look at the other girl, and I'm waiting for her to drop to her knees, but it just never happens. I don't.
Like you have ever looked at a girl that you wanted to drop to her knees and she didn't. Like that happened to Paul Carter.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, so
You can hypnotize the bitch just staring at her. You're like, yep, and done.
no. So going back to
No, that never happened.
going back to the
Going back to narcissism.
narcissism, because I've got it written on a
Let's stop
post.
talking about ourselves.
Paul Carter is not a narcissist.
No, you know what? Jay made a great point there. Is that there's a certain amount of narcissism that absolutely I believe is healthy, and it's no different than having self belief or having self worth. One of my favorite, you guys know who Cat Williams is, right?
Yeah, a little tiny crackhead.
Yeah,
Oh,
Cat,
comedian, yeah.
yeah, and
Leads cops on high-speed chases through Seattle on
he
the
punched
Segway.
the guy out at or didn't punch him out, but punched the guy at Target.
I thought it was Sizzler.
No, it was a Target. Listen to this.
Verify whether you the shit or not, bitch. If you the shit, you the motherfucking shit. We tired of y'all getting with us and blaming us for shit we ain't even in control of. You done got with a nigga, now you talking about, you fucked up my self-esteem. Bitch, it's called self-esteem. It's esteem of your motherfucking self, bitch. How the fuck can I fuck up how you feel about you, simple bitch?
So I always think about that when I think about self-esteem is that it's good to have a certain amount of healthy self-esteem, but it's also good to have a small dose of humility or humbleness thrown in there along with it.
It works well to call a girl a bitch constantly too.
It does work well to call.
Anytime I'm at a bar, I never say you or buddy or anything like that. I just call her bitch the entire time.
You know what? We could tack that on, preceding the what's the last book you read, or you could put it as the at the end, so you could preface it with bitch, or you could have an addendum. So I could knock that one bitch out and say, look at the friend. I'm trying to get this out without laughing, and say, bitch, what's the last book you read?
There you go.
Or
But you gotta
That's
deliver
the
it
title
like
of this
Cat
podcast.
Williams.
But back to what you just did there with you think it's good to have a good self-esteem. I agree completely, but I don't think you can have too much self-esteem as long as you got good integrity. I think the problem is when people have too much of an ego. So if your ego and self-esteem are in balance, if you have integrity, then I think you're a really healthy person. So when we have people who have like healthy narcissism, it'd be like you have a good degree of self-love, you don't seek you don't seek external approval because you have a good self-esteem. Like you're confident in yourself. Your self-worth isn't determined by others. So, you're a strong, stable person. Whereas
Jay,
people,
but
it's like
that's-
inflated ego.
But that's what you're getting to is there right there. Now you're touching on
Yeah.
the part of you know where I'm going with this, Jamie.
Yeah.
Is that
See other people.
yes, there's the narcissistic part right there. I don't have enough healthy self-love, So what I need to do is I need to be the most beautiful, or I need to have the biggest house, or I need to have this car,
Yeah.
and I need to have all
flash
these
my
things.
tits on Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I need for everybody else to tell me how beautiful I am and how awesome I am and all these things, because I don't feel healthy enough about
Yes.
that in myself. So
And that's our culture.
yes,
That's
absolutely.
our culture, and that's what our culture wants us to feel.
But because we could become dependent. Think about it, Jay. Think about it from this standpoint. Is that if you don't have that, think about if you have a healthy amount of self love, self esteem, you respect yourself, you have, and like you said, you have a certain amount of integrity that goes along with it. Well, if you need all those external resources, and some people will think that this is shallow, like on the surface. But what I mean is that if you need all those other things, that's what drives consumer products, right? That's what drives all the need for makeups. It's what drives the need for cars. It's what drives the need to have a bigger house. It's what drives the need for you to constantly get affirmation outside of you that you're worth something.
I can actually give a great example of this.
Go ahead.
I think I mentioned in the past that I used to date Heinrich Himmler's great niece, or great grandniece.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah, yeah. And I had a roommate at the time with an SS Death's Head tattooed on his calf. So he used to play Nazi marches every single time she came in the house. She actually painted a picture of burning people for our fucking living room. It was awesome. Anyway, this chick was hot as shit. Like, big ass tits, big booty, just like fucking banging body, looked amazing, and wasn't retarded. She wasn't the smartest girl I've ever dated, by any stretch of the imagination, but wasn't retarded. She could hang in a conversation. So she was fairly useful to have around, because we wouldn't let her wear pants in the house. Like, she always had to fucking have her pants off whenever she's in there, because she's big ass booty. So this girl, like, my roommate and I used to pass her back and forth, just fuck her constantly. We would occasionally just like end up like four of us naked in the fucking kitchen, having a conversation, getting a fucking Diet Coke after like just banging out constantly, trying to like outbang the other person, because he had a girlfriend with a big ass booty too. So this girl, after all that, like, she and I broke up. She hooked up with some fucking douche in Ohio who now has forbidden her from talking to me. And this fucking guy, like, he can't fuck for shit. Apparently has a tiny dick. And, like, just a useless fucking piece of shit. But anytime I've talked to her, all she can talk about is, I have a Viking range, and I have this big-ass house, and we have 6 acres, and we have a bus that we go to the fucking Browns games in. And, like, that's all she can talk about. She doesn't care anymore. She's not coming when she fucking... finally gets laid, when he can finally get his dick up. She doesn't care about that. She doesn't care about, like, I'm not having threesomes anymore. I'm not, like, getting fucking, like, trains run on me. Nothing. It's just, I have a Viking range. Like, that's insane to me. And she'll actually post that shit on Facebook, and she's like, look at my fucking kitchen. And it's like, who gives a shit?
So
Are
what?
you fucking kidding me?
So she sold out the things that she liked personally for the.
For the shit that society thinks is cool.
Yeah, or instead of propping herself up on some kind of instead of propping herself up like on her own self-esteem, she's created these like bubbles of grandiosity, like, oh, this fucking nice car, this pool, this trip here, this trip there, my bracelet or whatever the fuck. And then that's what happens, man. These things fucking pop, and then they start popping the pills.
Well, that was going to be my next
fucking
comment.
insane. That's
my next comment. Is where people don't think very far in advance. Is that if you lose all of those things, and that can and does happen all the time, if you lose all of those things and they get taken away from you, what do you have left? What is it that you have left in your life that gives you fulfillment? What is it that you're going to draw from to wake up every day and be happy about?
Yeah, like my buddy and I celebrated that girl's body every single time she walked in the house. Like, she put on, I don't even know, like 30 pounds, because I just fucking kept feeding her cheesecake, because I was like, let's see how fucking big we can make this booty. And it didn't matter how fucking fat she got, because we just loved her fucking ass so much. And now she's like sloppy as shit. Like, she tipped. It tipped hard. I would still, I would fuck the shit out of this girl, because, like, big ass. Like, it's good times. Plus, Heinrich Himmler's great candies.
Now, it's like ridiculous. I have to see this girl's ass at some point. You have just really blown it up. I mean,
Yes. So after this is uploaded, everyone listening, there'll be a picture of this ass somewhere.
Yeah, because she's being a cunt now anyway, so I might as well just fucking put it up.
I hope.
I'll put up the one where she was thinner because she got into like figure competitions and shit like that. I think she fucked.
Holy
what was
fuck!
that? What was
You
that?
wanna talk about
There was a
narcissist?
super ripped bodybuilder in the '90s who had blonde hair. He had a D name.
Don't say.
It wasn't Dan Duchesne, but that's the only name I can come up with. But I think she fucked him when she was in Ohio. He used to like blow lines off the fucking bathroom sink and then go squat. He was ripped to shreds. Gary Stridham. No, it wasn't Gary Stridham. It was somebody along those lines, though.
Just keep naming bodybuilders.
Yeah, I can't fucking remember the guy's name, but like she was trying to fuck him, or she did fuck him, or something like that. But she was training with him, and she got real like fairly buff, and the girl already carried like a ton of lower body mass, so the booty was fucking crazy. Then when she leaned out, it was like stupid, like just crazy.
Jesus! I gotta see a picture of this now. This is just ridiculous.
I will send you a picture.
What's the point, anyways?
I think Jamie's point.
My point was that
Jesus.
she has completely forgotten about like what is good in life, and is thinking now about like what material things she can get in life.
But a lot of women sell that stuff out for security. That's very common.
Yes.
But it's very common for a woman to. Here's one of my big things, and I think this is kind of this parlays into that, is that I see women all the time with very. There's such a discrepancy between them looks wise and the man they're with, right? But they always have all these things. They always have like they don't ever talk about they talk about what their man got them, or they talk about some trip that he paid for them to go on, or you know what I mean? Like it's never about him. And it's always the same women that say this. Well, when I first met Bobby, I didn't think he was that attractive. And as soon as that conversation starts, I'm just like, I'm out of it. I'm checking out of this conversation. Because, you know, there's a settler and a reacher. And, you know,
Yeah.
and she's.
And most women are settlers. Most women,
Right.
just like they turn 25 and they feel like, oh, well, I had a 5-year plan. I should be married now, and I'm just going to marry the next fucking guy with a decent fucking job that I know.
Right. And so all of this plays into the whole part we were talking about with entitlement and narcissism, is that the guy has to cater to her, right? Because she's got the princess syndrome. She's got the princess syndrome that I need all this stuff. I need for you to cater to my emotional needs, my financial needs, you know, whatever needs that I have. It's your job to cater to them because that's what I've been told that you're supposed to do. Oh, you want a blowjob? I'm sorry. It's your birthday.
Yeah, and that shit drives me fucking crazy.
I only say that
I
because
hear about dudes whose wives won't fuck them, and I lose my fucking mind.
well,
Dude, I know, I feel bad saying this, and I hope they never listen, but I know a couple who I heard the wife say she thinks penises are gross.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
And I just thought, oh my god, I feel so sorry for him, man.
Does she-
What
does she-
the fuck? You married a woman who doesn't like your dick.
does,
I was
does
like,
she
what the fuck?
does she like vagina better?
No,
What does she like?
she's straight, and that's what scared me the most.
Was she?
That's fucking horrible.
Yeah, but that's a person who falls into like you guys were talking about security and looks, and then you were talking about figure competitors before that, and I think that is like I feel so sorry for women, man. They place so much of the security on looks, and figure competitors are like the epitome of it all because they try so hard to look good for this one day. They diet, their confidence gets so high for that like 3 weeks where they're looking great. They're doing these photo shoots and everything, and then boom, look at them 2 months later after they've rebounded, and they feel like shit. Their self-esteem, or the
Gone.
bubble pops, the ego's gone. They're down with their low self-esteem again, and then some poor sap who's dating them, because I'm sure we've all dated figure competitors, is thinking, "Holy fuck, this sucks." Am I
I've never
correct?
once dated a figure competitor, by the way.
Okay. She became a figure after.
Yeah, that was the bizarre thing. She didn't lift really when we were together. It was only after. I guess maybe she was trying to get me back or something like that.
Okay, and so because I want to make a point there is that Jay is touching on a big part of why it's not just because I understand I'm blaming women or blaming individuals. As a society, we do this to people, and then you know people feel like that they have to measure up to other people's standards. That is why that this exists and why this is a problem. And I posted up a video a while back, and I'm sure that everybody thought it was way too fucking Nancy boy, but I didn't care because I liked the message. And I don't know if you saw it, Jay, but it was Dustin Hoffman talking about Tootsie, right, when he made the movie Tootsie.
I definitely did not see that.
Okay, well, it was pretty. It was actually pretty cool. So Dustin Hoffman said when they made Tootsie that basically they had to make special makeup, right, for him as a man for it to work, because he said he didn't want to look like a dude in drag, for the movie. He wanted to look, authentically like a woman, or as much as he could, right, because he wanted it to look right. So they had to work with a special makeup artist so that the makeup fit his, his skin tone and all that kind of stuff real specifically. So he said, they shot a bunch of scenes, and then he goes into the, to watch the outtakes, and he's looking at it, and he goes, he was unhappy, and they're like, why? He goes, well, I'm not very beautiful. He's like, he said, I want to be a more beautiful woman. He goes, I don't look very good. And they looked at him and said, well, honestly, Dustin, that's as good as it's going to get. And he said it was, for the first time ever, he said he went home and he cried because he told his wife, he said, I have bought into what society has told me I have to buy into. And he said, I understand what so many women feel like now, because I am not beautiful enough for everybody else's standard. And that's the stigma that we place on people, is that they have to measure up to some standard that society has put forth, and we don't ever learn how to say, you know what, I don't care about those standards. I'm going to have that healthy and happy sense of self-worth about who I am.
I agree completely. I feel sorry for women every single time I'm in a pharmacy or a grocery store and I'm looking at those magazines of women who are airbrushed and, not ideal. Because even though women look at these pictures and they know that these pictures are fake, it's still ubiquitous. You know what I mean? They still see it every day. So if they're not active-minded and critically thinking every time they see all these fake...
Every time I see those fake pictures, I think the same thing for women, because as men we don't really do that to each other. There's a picture, there you go. But if
and I mean, like, guys like us is different too, though, because like we're all guys who are pretty manly by societal standards. So I look at a Men's Health magazine and I'm like, man, who is this little sissy looking pretty? You know what I mean? I'm like, man, I bought the floor with that guy. So it's different. But even skinnier guys who are looking at that, they're like, oh, I wish I could look like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But women have it far, far worse than us. At least guys can be funny, at least. If they don't have nice bodies, they can at least be funny or have a nice car or whatever. But the second a woman doesn't look a certain way, her self-esteem takes a huge hit.
Right.
And that's when a woman becomes unattractive. It's not when a chick is fat. It's not when a chick like has cellulite. It's not any of that shit. It's just when a chick just looks like she's trying to curl up in the fetal position while she's walking down the street. That's when a chick becomes unattractive. Because she just walks around and she's a little bit overly thick and maybe there's a little bit of slop hanging out here and there. But if she's fun and cool and clearly down to fuck, yeah, she'll definitely fucking get a ride. But
and for the 4 women that do listen to our show, the 4 women that would listen to our show would be intelligent women, and the one thing we'll all agree upon is that while men are visually wired, we see something, we know if we like it. However, Jamie and I have talked about this many times.
Thick girls are the best lay.
Well, you talk to no, not that.
Jay's not going to agree with
right. But what I was going to get to is that you can talk to a girl for 5 minutes, and if she cannot hold an intelligent conversation with you for 5 minutes, you're turned off. You're very turned off.
You're better about putting up with that shit than I am, though. If the girl can't fucking hold a conversation within 10 seconds, if I get any kind of sense that she's halfway fucking derped up, I'm done. You're fucking retarded. Get away from me.
I don't think it's that I'm better with that than you. It's just I have a little more tolerance for people than you do.
There's that, too. But you're far more patient with stupid people than I am.
I am definitely far more patient with stupid people than you are.
What if they're introverted people and that's why the girl's quiet?
That's okay. I think you can usually tell that, don't you think?
You can definitely tell if a girl's introverted. There's a huge difference between introverted and retarded.
Yeah, an introverted girl doesn't bother me. That usually means that she probably is just a little guarded because maybe she's dealt with fucking assholes before. I find that to be very common, is that when a woman is introverted and kind of to herself, she's like, you know what, I have to wait you out a little bit and see if you're an asshole before I talk to you very much. Yeah. So, I mean, I tend to find that that to be one of the issues. I mean, Jay was talking about walking through. I made a post about this a while back, which is hilarious. You can't even. They even have a woman has everything for her body now that she's told that she has to fix or change or be better. I made a joke about this on Facebook, and I was walking through the pharmacy, and they have pussy wipes in the pharmacy. It's like, it's like, hey, when your pussy's not smelling so good, clean your shit up, wipe yourself off with this stuff. So, and I made a joke. It's like, where are the dick wipes at? Where's the dick wipes? Because you have those days, you're like, man, I'm not feeling so fresh down there. I know that if I do that scratch and sniff test, I'm gonna do the pull away.
I gotta ask you, does your when you do the scratch and sniff, does your wife jump in there and be like, oh, I want to fucking check that out. Let me see what's going on. Because Krista's all over it. She's like, well, you're not going to fucking hog that for yourself. Let me see what's going on down there.
What I think is funny is that guys know, if we say we talk about the scratch and sniff, we know what we're talking about. Women are clueless. The 4 women that listen to our show are clueless right now. They don't know what we're talking about. Jay, tell us what the scratch and sniff is.
Can you scratch it and sniff it?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Jay's terrified of his CrossFitters. Just terrified of them.
Women right now are horrified that are listening to this show.
They're absolutely not horrified because any of the women who listen to this know about the scratch and sniff, and they're literally in there like, let me get some fucking pheromones. Like, where are the pheromones? Let's do that. All right, I'm in.
Yeah. Women don't know about the sniff test either.
I guarantee you women know about sniff test. Women do that shit to themselves all the time.
No, I am telling you for a fact, most women do not know about the sneaky, the sneaky rub and sniff test. They don't know it.
Oh, but every single woman on the planet checks to see what's going on with themselves when they piss. Every single woman.
You think they do the rub and sniff?
They do a rub and sniff.
They
definitely do.
Jay, do you know about the rub and sniff?
Never heard of the rub and sniff.
See, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know about the rub and
these things.
Yeah, I don't know about the rub and sniff.
Yeah, see, you guys don't have the same kind of thing going on with your girls that I do. So, like, your girl's never pissed in your mouth. But when you get a girl pissing in your mouth, she'll tell you if she's doing the rub and sniff. And girls do the rub and sniff.
Now, if you're gonna do like the golden flow thing, you want the girl to drink like a lot of water and have the clear urine going on beforehand, right?
Actually, Diet Coke is better. Diet Coke's better for shit. It's better for piss. It's better for everything. Vomit, whatever it is, Diet Coke is the thing that you want them to drink. Because otherwise, it's going to be a fucking nightmare. But if it's Diet Coke, then it's going to be slightly sweet and it's going to be good.
So, yeah, women generally, it's funny, I think, maybe a woman does the rub and sniff. I don't know. I think they know when they're not fresh down there, right? I mean, they know this.
Way to back away on that one.
I'm not backing away. I'll come all the way back to it. I'm saying I was getting back on topic with talking about scratch and sniff.
I don't think Jay wanted to get into that. I don't think Canadians are into that sort of thing.
Canadians do.
Well, one of the things, let's say a woman had problems down there and it was pretty smelly every time she did the rub and sniff. A protective mechanism of a narcissist
Very well
is to
done.
project onto others what they hate in themselves.
Correct.
Ooh.
These
Look,
women,
Jay getting deep. Jay's
these
going deep.
women who have problems down there and they need the smelly pads or the smelly wipey thingies,
Right.
they're gonna be the ones running around telling everyone else that they smell bad. So that's a good giveaway for a girl who needs a rub and sniff.
That's interesting.
You mean if a girl's telling another girl her pussy stinks?
Yeah, then stay away from the accuser.
Or just jump right in on that.
I would I don't know, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, because that's pheromone time right there. That's you get fucking crazy in there.
Plus, I would want to ask her, how does she know? How do you know? How do you know about her? How do you know about her vagina? How do you know?
Oh, is that how we would make the intro to the threesome?
Yeah.
Do you have a smelly cunt?
Well, I would punch the one girl out.
Oh, you punch one girl out and ask her if the other
You
one's
guys always trying to steal my moves.
I would punch the one girl out and then ask the other girl, how does she know about your vagina?
Wait, is the Jay Nero punching a girl out thing, is that on one of the recorded instances of this Cass and Bang, or
I think it was the one that got lost. So if people are
everybody's lost now.
It doesn't matter. People are confused. This is the Jay Nera. I'm gonna pick up a chick in a bar. I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna punch her in the face.
No, he's gonna punch that girl in the face and then talk to her friend.
Yeah, that's it. But he punches the one in the face that he likes.
Jay, is that how you picked up your current girlfriend?
It was actually in the stomach. I knocked the wind out of her and put her on the ground.
Not in the face.
When she was gasping for air in the fetal position, that's when I took over.
Ah.
I'm gonna have to. Can I steal that one from you too?
Yeah, but that's only for long-term relationships, that move.
Oh, because you want the face to be intact.
Exactly. You're right on.
God, you are so smart.
So when you tell that story to your grandkids, are you going to say Rover took over and gave her a bone of her own?
Yes.
Do you guys even get that joke?
Yes.
No.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Jane here. What is happening in Canada? You guys don't have Andrew Dice Clay up there?
Who's Andrew Dice Clay?
Holy fucking hell. This is happening? This is happening right now. You really don't know who Andrew Dice Clay is?
No.
The single greatest American of all time. That's who he is. He literally invented modern comedy.
I'm going to have to look.
He's the first comedian to sell out Madison Square Garden. And he did all these dirty nursery rhymes, and one of them was, it was Old Mother Hubbard went to her cupboard to give her old dog a bone. When she bent over, Rover took over and gave her a bone of her own. Oh!
Yeah, I remember that. I've heard that.
Yeah.
Right on.
Little Miss Bobbit sat on her tuffet, eating some curds and whey. Along came a spider and sat down beside her and said, "Hey, what's in the bowl, bitch?" You guys don't love the shit out of that guy?
No,
I've seen him live twice.
I actually preferred when Gilbert Godfrey made fun of him. That was actually my favorite.
I think we actually had a podcast about that.
I think
Gilbert's fucking stand up over Andrew Dice Clay was amazing.
It was. He actually he roasted Andrew pretty badly. Which I love Gilbert Godfrey because I think that if you want to give out to the definition of someone who's not narcissistic, it would be Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah, he's the most annoying Jew who's ever lived. Not Jew, Jewish person of Jewish descent.
Everything with Jamie is like right on the cusp of what is
Abrahamic. He's Abrahamic is what he is. My ex-girlfriend would not have stuffed him in an oven unless it had been 1942.
So Jay, I think we actually got one of the things that you were just saying there that I actually like is that you said a lot of people project on the other people their shortcomings, what they feel bad about themselves. I've written about that quite a bit, but go into that a little more. Like, give a better example besides a stinky vagina. I don't think that projects well. I think the other part was deep, but I don't like if a girl's like, "Man, I'm not fresh, bitch. You got a stinky vagina." I just feel like that doesn't work.
It could just be something as simple as someone telling another person they need to grow up or take control of their life, or you're being such a baby in certain things when they know that they're the one who's a baby half the time too, right?
Yeah, I think what happens a lot of times people they put down on other people about things they feel very inferior about in their own life.
Yeah.
And I mean that comes back to the whole narcissism thing, is that we have to live up to a certain image, or we have to portray a certain image to get acceptance from other people. So I guess my question to you is that how does one go about essentially not giving a fuck? Like how does someone, and I mean in a healthy way, because I think that people who say I don't give a fuck, I think that's a negative energy. I think anytime somebody has to tell you they don't give a fuck, they really do.
Oh, absolutely. Every time I hear someone say I don't care what you think,
that means they do.
First thing I think is you do, because when I just walk away and say whatever, that's me actually saying whatever, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when I have to say, oh, I don't care what you think, that's like, well, let's keep talking about it, you know?
Right.
But I mean, it all comes down to self-esteem. Everything, in my opinion, comes down to self-esteem. And you can only get self-esteem by doing actions which build your self-esteem, right? You can only have purpose and do things. You can only practice what you preach. And if you're saying, a good man looks after his child, or a good man teaches his son good values, and then he's beaten his son, that guy is not going to have a good self-esteem. Even if to the rest of society, he has the appearance of being a good dad, he still has to look himself in the mirror. And I think that is where most people fail now, is because everyone's trying to project all this shit on Facebook and Twitter and what have you, that they're living this certain life, and then they still go home, they look themselves in the mirror, and they say, I'm not happy, what's going on, blah, blah, blah.
I will say though that that's taken entirely the wrong way, the other direction. So, for instance, people will think that we all lift because we are like internally weak people who are trying to overcompensate for small dicks or like some sort of horrible failing. Am I wrong? Have you not encountered this your entire life?
Absolutely. And the thing I wanted to add on there from what Jay said is it's not just about living whatever code. And when I say living it, I mean set a code for yourself in place and live that code. And if you're not going to give a fuck, then you don't give a fuck, but you give a fuck about things that matter, right?
Absolutely.
And not only that, but one of the biggest things that helped me personally with this the most, and I think that we all go through these things. The one thing I want to say about this, all of us have gone through periods in our life where we felt inferior or we felt like we didn't measure up or we felt like we weren't enough, okay? Everybody goes through those things. And the thing that helped me the most getting through that was learning that I could only do or be the best that I could be. And it doesn't matter what Jamie does or what Jay does, and it doesn't matter what anybody else does outside of me. That doesn't have any effect on my life. And people get so wrapped up in trying to measure up to what other people can do or what other people can be and think that they only have self-worth is if they can measure up to that person or if they can exceed that person's abilities or it can exceed their monetary worth or those kind of things. And it has to come back to you have eventually got to say, I can't worry about what other people do. I can't worry about what they can accomplish. I'm gonna put all of my effort to be the best that I can be in every facet of my life, and however that measures up to my own personal goals, then I'll judge myself according to the goals I set forth for myself, but not how it measures up to the things other people can do.
Absolutely.
Which is where all those tables and all that shit comes in with people comparing themselves to other lifters on the internet and all that shit.
Right, and the thing is, and here's
Who
the
the
thing
fuck
is,
cares when it comes down to it?
no,
At the end of the day, like, why would you fucking care? Just lift however much weight you can lift and call it a day.
yeah, and the thing about that is obviously, Jamie's got got the world record in 181 class, and Jay's going to go after the 220 class, and I mean I haven't hit the elite total yet. I haven't had the day that I wanted to hit yet, but I don't go around and I say, oh, I feel bad because I don't measure up to Dan Green or I don't measure up to Eric Lillibridge.
We all look
It's
down.
funny you say that because I had one of my training partners, one of my buddies, say one day he was like, "Man, like, don't you just hate Dan Green?"
No, no.
And I looked at him and I was like, "No," I'm like, "Absolutely not." I'm like, I'm inspired by him. Like he's taken the limits to another level. I'm like, I used to just think about 2,000 pounds. Now I'm thinking 2,100 would be a great lifetime goal. You know what I mean? And that's a big difference. I think someone with a huge ego is just gonna get eaten alive by that, and those people are gonna hate themselves for not living up to this standard that you guys are talking about.
Yeah, it used to be, and I went through that a long time ago too. Is like I would see a guy that was capable of doing something, and I would have a certain amount of jealousy, or I would have a certain amount of I hate that guy because he can do something I can't. But now when I see a guy that's like Brantley Thornton, it's like he just missed the 805 pull in training a few weeks ago at like 100.
That's fucking strong.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking amazing. All I think now is when I see that, it's like, God damn, that is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And that's when you get to a point where you let go and you're no longer saying, man, I'm not worth a shit because I can't do what that guy can do. I just look at that stuff and I go, man, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking at that guy saying, holy shit. All right, so that fucking in the 1980s wasn't the only guy ever at 181 to bench 500 pounds. Like, Brantley Thornton's fucking doing it every single time he goes in the gym. Why can't I bench 405 every time I go in the gym?
No, and you know what? Here's the thing about that is that's okay. You can do it from a healthy level, right? You can look at another guy and say, okay, I'm going to chase this guy, but I'm not going to beat myself up. You know what I mean? Like Jay's doing it right now with Dan. Like he wants to go after Dan's 220, but Jay goes, man, Dan's fucking awesome, right? You understand what I mean? There's a healthy balance in there of saying.
I actually wrote this to Dan Green. So if Dan Green's listening, he's going to remember me saying this like 2 days ago. And I said, man, if I didn't have such a fucking healthy self-esteem, I would fucking hate you.
Right.
That's exactly what I wrote. I'm like, because he was telling me what his goals are for Rump. And I was just like, holy shit.
What are Dan's goals for rum? Because we always want to know.
He was 10 times body weight at 220, man.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, which is insane. But when he says the numbers, and that's the thing, because Dan has a good self-esteem. So when he's saying his goals, there's integrity behind it. It doesn't sound like he's saying stupid shit to me. He says, yeah, I'd like to do 2,200, and I'm like, oh, you're thinking like 550, 850. Then he's like, yeah, right around that, 804, 540, and maybe 859. And I'm like, and I'm reading that, and I'm like, yeah, if you have the day of your life, like, that's doable for you. It doesn't seem unreasonable. And I think that's really cool. And I think that, like, when you're saying Jamie, you're talking about, you think guys like us who got muscles and we're all into lifting big weights, that, like, we're overcompensating for something because we have low self-esteem. But I would say the opposite. I think I have a good self-esteem because I'm very confident that I understand that the efforts I put in to my life are going to bear fruits that are, like, positive. Exactly. So I have control of myself. I have responsibility of myself, and I think that is a great self-esteem builder.
You're absolutely not going to say to the world, oh, well, I didn't hit this number because X and Y and Z excuses. There's not going to be any of that. It's just be like, I had a fucking bad day, and I fucking gave it my best, and it didn't fucking happen. It's not. You're not going to make all these excuses. You're not going to be that guy who goes on Reddit and says, like, oh, well, I sprained my ankle and my fucking leg fell off and my dog died and my grandma was sick. It's not going to be any of that shit. It's just going to be like, yeah, next time I fucking got it. And I will say that I nearly pulled a PR at a very low body weight for myself because you were slamming me on the back, just screaming that you showed up at the meet because I was there. And I was like, Jesus Christ, fucking Jay Nera said that he showed up at a meet to see me lift. That's fucking awesome. I'm gonna pull this. And I came close to pulling 685, which was a huge PR for me just because of that. And, like, that's the kind of shit that nobody fucking gets. And it's like the camaraderie of the sport. It's that everybody fucking getting behind everybody else and just, like, it's all positive energy. And there's no negative energy is going into anything that fucking is good. Nobody's hitting a PR because somebody said, oh, well, your girlfriend's gonna fuck some guy because you're not fucking benching 400.
Yeah, I talk. That's a great point, Jamie, because I always tell people this all the time, is that if you approach training or you approach a meet or you approach anything in life that you're going to do and it is driven by a negative energy, a negative force, more times than not you are going to have a negative outcome from it.
Almost invariably.
And right.
Every time you see a guy in the gym with his lifting partner screaming some shit like, lift it, you fucking pussy, that guy's going to fucking miss his lift. Every single time. Every single time.
Right.
I would get up and fucking strangle my lifting partner if he yelled at me that I was a fucking pussy.
Yeah, and so to tie all that in with the whole point of being of narcissism, and I guess the dichotomy that we're trying to show there is that you have to have that healthy amount of narcissism where you're like, like Jay's talking about, I'm going to go chase Dan's, all-time record at 220, or Jamie's saying, Brantley is benching 500 in the gym. I need to get my bench where I can hit 400 or 415 or whatever every week in the gym too. That's healthy. Those things are healthy. It's okay to look at somebody and say, that guy can do this. I need to step my game up. That's okay. That's healthy. When it starts becoming detrimental is when you attach that negative energy or negative connotation to what that person can do, and say, man, I hate that fucking guy because he can do something I can't do. And it's the opposite of what we're talking about. We see a guy that can do something, you go, man, that's incredible. That inspires me. I want to get better.
Yeah, I think inspire is the big word there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like if you're inspired by people better than you, then you pretty much have an intact self-esteem.
Yes.
But if you're beating yourself up and you're starting to think, oh, I'll never be that good, whatever, you're fucked.
But a lot of guys, and that's why a lot of guys have a negative take about people. And I think that's why even like Jamie and I get some negative attention, and he knows what I'm talking about. And it's because you get a lot of people that see either, like you talked about, what we look like or what we lift or those kind of things, and they say they want to take something away from you. Okay, they want to take something away from you. They read Jamie, you've read articles where I've seen like 150 comments about it, and it's all taking every line that you wrote apart. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it's because people need to take those kind of people that exist in that in that world. They need to take something away from you to feel better about where they're at.
Yeah, and at the very last fucking case scenario, what do they fall back on? Every single time, they fall back on the same thing: steroids.
Well, I always call that the internet. What do I call it? The mating call of the internet loser.
That shit makes me fucking. I have a guy that posts on my blog. It makes me sick to my stomach.
Wait. What's this?
And I know for a fact that he's doing it just to piss me off, and I can't fucking help it. Like every time, it makes me insane. I
What's
just
this?
want to fucking fly to England and drown him in a goddamn toilet because it just fucking annoys me so much.
Are you talking about Rant?
Yes, every fucking time, everything I post, it's steroids. Every single goddamn time. And I can't help it. The shit makes me insane.
Dude, it's so funny because sometimes he'll just post and it'll just be steroids.
Yep, that's it.
But I laugh so hard when he does that.
Will he do it on like a post that has absolutely nothing to do with strength?
Yes.
Like your stew post?
Yeah.
He actually posted it on the stew post. He posted steroids, etc.
Which, by the way, I just ate some stew today because I told one of my clients about that, and she made me some stew.
That's awesome. That is great. And see,
that's fucking awesome. I've gotten so many awesome emails, like with people sending me fucking stew recipes from like the craziest fucking corners of the earth because they're like, "You're fucking right. Like, we eat more stew. Fucking A, right." And that was the coolest thing because I thought everybody was gonna shit on me for that article, and it ended up being like my most popular article ever.
I liked it, man.
I really enjoyed it. I love the fact that you got off the whole I can't ever eat fucking carbohydrates bandwagon.
Oh, here we go.
See, we have to have something.
Hate the keto.
No, I don't.
Hate the game.
I totally. You know what? I don't eat carbs on off days anymore either. But you got so crazy with the whole I'm just never going to eat carbs. I'm just never going to do it. And
I finally snapped. It took 3.5 years or something of constant keto dieting, and I was finally just snapped, and I was like, I'm eating fucking tater tots with every goddamn meal. And I was going to fucking Chick-fil-A for breakfast and getting like the mini chicken things, and I couldn't fucking help myself. I was like, more carbs. And I got leaner. I actually lost body weight because I guess I wasn't eating enough protein.
Right.
But it was just fucking insanity. Like, how the fuck did I get leaner on that? But I didn't.
So
it's steroids.
So something I thought about, like just while we were in the point of conversation, was like a couple of words, because when I was talking about the whole coming back to getting actually back on top with the whole narcissism thing, was that a lot of people take what we do as being narcissistic, because obviously, it's about, I mean, let's get real. Every guy that powerlifts is still a closet bodybuilder. I mean, Jay has even said it too. He's like, hey, you want to look strong and be stronger than you look. Right.
And you know what? I guarantee you that everybody who saw Jay and I and Cade and all the other fucking people that we were walking around with in Tampa, every single person thought we were bodybuilders.
Yeah, that's what I get. I always get a bodybuilder or wrestler.
Yeah,
never powerlifters.
When I'm in an airport traveling, everyone's like, "Oh, you're a wrestler, you bodybuilder."
I've never gotten wrestler. I get bodybuilder all the time.
People always think I'm a professional MMA fighter or something like that.
Well, that's because you have tattoos.
I'm like 3 feet tall. I could no more fight MMA at my body weight than, I don't know, I could fight MMA at my body weight. I mean, I could get in there and crash and fucking bang, and I'd beat the shit out of people and fucking smash legs and break femurs. But at some point, I'd have to go up against Anderson Silva, who would just pepper me with fucking jabs until I just threw up my hands in fury and was like, fuck it, I quit. Just because, why the fuck would I want to fight somebody who's 6 feet tall? It's boring.
Yeah, I don't know. That's twice as tall as you are.
Yeah, I absolutely despise Anderson Silva, by the way. We should talk about that.
That'll be another blog, and I was so happy when he fucking got knocked out. Yes. That was awesome.
It was.
Fucking amazing.
Just now, guys, I just looked up some shit because you were saying a lot of people look at guys like us and they think narcissism right away. So here's some signs of narcissism.
Let's hear it.
Okay, so there's chaotic childhood, series of dysfunctional households and families, whatever. That's not like a sign you can see in someone. But lies pathologically. Body language. Wow. Body language. Superior posture, like they're behind a glass wall. So you know those guys who are always trying to seem like studs when they're just standing talking to you?
Yeah, the air lats guys.
Yeah. Here's a huge one. This one's awesome. Pronoun density. This is actually a clinical test, it says.
Holy shit.
So that's how many times you say me, my, I, mine in a sentence when it's unnecessary or a better term can be used. And I'm sure we all know people like this who are always saying, instead of saying we, they always say I. And, yeah. So, interesting fact on that. Obama's pronoun density is 3 times that of a psychopathic narcissist.
Holy shit.
In his inaugural speech, he said he referred to himself 144 times.
How's Steven Taylor or whatever the fuck his name is?
We'll make a chart and we'll post it at the end of this.
So here,
what is your president's name? Do you guys have presidents or is it prime minister?
Prime Minister Stephen Harper.
Prime Minister
Stephen Harper. At least I got his first name right.
So since we talked about women in regards to the narcissism,
sorry, I'm just gonna say one more and then get on that. Okay, hold that thought.
All right.
The next clinical test is called the adversity tolerance threshold. So that is how often you snap at your underlings. So people are always snapping at people, no patience. Chances are they might be a narcissist. Okay, go ahead.
What I was going to say is that when you think of and I've talked about this a little recently, but not a whole lot, is that when you think of a woman that would fit that mold, the woman who doesn't have the necessary healthy self-esteem or a healthy amount of narcissism like we talked about, what would be the adjective you would use to describe her?
I want to go to the lake.
No. I think of when I think of a woman who's like well-rounded and has all of the qualities that we're talking about. It's a word that women it's something they want to be, but they often aren't because they always use the wrong word. I guess I'm being kind of ambiguous with this, but so I'll just spell it out. And I always think of a woman who's really well-rounded, who is beautiful all the way from the inside to the outside, and has great qualities and all those things. I think of her as being beautiful. Whereas a woman who is lacking those things, we use words like she's hot, or if she's physically attractive. I mean, that she's hot.
That's fucking deep, right there.
You're trying to get laid, aren't you?
No.
You're trying to get laid by those 4 women listening.
Oh, what I'm saying is, I think of a woman that's inside and out, that is well-rounded. I always think of those women as being very beautiful. But when I think of a woman that I look on the outside, and she's lacking the intelligence, or she hasn't cultivated things about herself outside of just her her self-worth, of what she looks like, you always attach an adjective to her that's like she's hot, or or bangable, or she's whatever, because you don't think of her in terms of anything deeper than what you're seeing on the outside.
I will agree with you on the one hand, and on the other hand, that will put you in the fucking friend zone every time. Because at the end of the day, girls just want to be fucked. Like, they don't want you to respect them. They don't want you to, think of them as a human being. They want to be fucked. Horribly fucked, just face jammed in the fucking pillow, choked out. Like, fucked.
And that's why punching women in the face is a great line, because they don't really need to be respected, right? We don't need to put women on this plinth, on this pedestal.
Right.
You just need to punch them in the face and give them a good
on a pedestal. That you're making it equal rights means equal fights.
That's not good.
It's fucking on. Like, you just walk in a bar and you're like, oh, you're equal to me, bow, and you fucking jack her in the mouth. Just to let her know, you're fucking equal. Like, I might be 220 and fucking jacked to shit, but you're my 110-pound, blonde-haired...
I think Bill Burr said it. He was talking about the whole... I listened to this last night. He was talking about the whole why men make more money than women, and he said it's because... when that fucking Titanic's going down, we're going to be the ones sitting on that ship playing the cello while you're getting your ass off in that lifeboat. And that's why we get that extra $1 an hour.
I didn't get that one for a second because I was like,
yeah,
you're gonna.
I didn't get it either. I was like off in the fucking weeds there.
I was talking because we were talking about equality.
I get where you're going. at the same time, like the joke, I don't know, it fell flat for me.
I apologize for it falling flat. I didn't do
Shitting
it.
all over your joke.
I
Shitting
totally shit
over.
all over the joke. I think that was a really pretty awesome segment, and somehow we managed to stay on topic pretty well.
We did actually.
Yeah, and we had some deep moments there.
Oh,
And
okay.
and I think we should let everybody know that Jay wants women to shit on his chest, like girls who are not his girlfriend. We should just let them know that right now.
And Jay also, just to let women know that are interested in
Facebook
Jay.
him.
Yes, first off, Facebook friend him, the 4 women that are listed.
Yep.
And Jay likes real big labia, really big labia.
Yeah.
I mean,
Thumbs up.
I will say that I did awesomely fuck a girlfriend of a guy who reads my blog because the girlfriend was like, "You're a piece of shit. I'm gonna fuck that guy." So I did pull that off. That was pretty awesome. That was like the one time I had to brush the shoulder off because I was like, "All right, this blog has actually fucking paid off a little bit."
now see that fell flat too.
How did that fall flat?
I felt like it fell flat.
I don't know, but if anyone wants to take a test, it is called the Narcissist Personality Inventory, and it's
I got
40
halfway
questions.
through that thing and lost interest.
It's 40 questions that'll take you fucking 3 minutes, Jamie. Yep, 30 fucking minutes, man.
Jay, you are forgetting that we made it 8 seconds into a segment before you derailed the
It'll
topic.
literally take 3 or 4 minutes, man. Anyone out there, it's 2 questions or 2 sentences, and you just pick the one that best suits you. 40 of those.
So
You have to be introspective in order to do that, though.
you know what you should
Somewhat,
do?
yes.
Have someone that knows you very well take it for you.
That would be interesting to compare your results against theirs.
It would be, right? Because I
That would
always.
be really fucking like have Tiff take this test for you and
Oh.
then you take it. See what happens.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no!
I feel like she would fucking ruin you.
I
She'd
feel-
be like, oh, narcissist, narcissist, narcissist.
Yes, I absolutely believe that would happen. Absolutely, 100%,
Yeah.
100%. Well, how do you feel like that would happen if you had Krista do it for you?
Oh, it would be the same exact fucking thing.
Yes, and how about
big swinging dick?
how about you, Jay?
Well, I think everyone's going to claim their partner is a little bit more narcissistic than the other person thinks, for sure.
So where's the balance at?
Look at Jay being the voice of reason over there.
No. I think we're all saying the same thing. So what I'm asking is, so do you think that sometimes that maybe even our own healthy narcissism might spill over into an unhealthy level at times?
Certainly.
Jay, voice of reason, Nira.
I think that all determines on that time bomb. All determines on whether or not we have a good sense of integrity. In my opinion, how realistic are you with yourself? Right?
Mm.
It's just
But,
like
but at some point, every single person walks into a fucking bar and is like, I'm the best looking motherfucker in this place. Everybody eats shit. It's fucking on.
But hey, Jay,
Every
hold
single
on.
fucking guy does that at some point.
Hold on.
It doesn't matter what he looks like. It doesn't matter like how big his dick is. He's just like, I'm the shit and it's on.
All right, and that actually, Jay, that's
I would think the guy who thinks like that has too big an ego.
yes. And you know what else?
The fact that you have to compare yourself to every other guy in there right away is a big ego.
It's exactly what I said
Having
earlier.
a good
You don't
self-esteem
feel like
bar.
12 shots in you're gonna hit that point where you're like, so you pre-gamed at the house and you walk in the bar and you're like, I'm the shit. What's up?
I think I'll just walk in the bar and I won't be thinking about myself. I'll be looking around to see what's in the bar.
Jay will be looking around to see what chick he's gonna punch in the
Yeah.
face.
Which chick is gonna punch first? Which chick am I gonna jack in the mouth first? Whose teeth do I want to see on the floor right now?
That's Jay's nearest first thought into the bar is who's spitting teeth right now.
Exactly. Gay near a wife beater. Fucking Canadians.
That's actually a great point, and I'll try to make this point so we can wrap up because I think it's been a great discussion. Is that one of the things that
You guys made me out to be an asshole, by the way. I'm just gonna say that you guys left me out on a fucking ledge there, being the asshole.
we absolutely did not.
You absolutely did.
No, we didn't. What I was going to say is, Jay, how do you feel about this? Actually, both you guys can chime in on this one because I think that's a great point. Is that sometimes I write to guys and I tell them, like, you have to understand. I feel this is how I feel personally. Everybody has to understand that you have genetically self-imposed limits. Okay, I'll argue with this people till the cows come home about this particular point. Understanding your limits or understanding what limit that you're currently at is the best way to get past them a lot of the times. And that's some, there's a reason why only so many guys have ever deadlifted 900 pounds, and the reason why only 2 guys have ever pulled 1,000, right? Are you guys following me on this?
Absolutely.
I completely disagree with you, but continue.
I know where you're going. So what I'm getting at is that, unequivocally, I can stand up and tell you, Jamie, you're never going to deadlift 1,000 pounds.
And I will say, fuck you, I will do it.
I understand that you will, but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter that you can tell me that. And what I'm saying is you're never going to pull a grand. And people hate that because and it comes back to the special snowflake thing. Everybody wants to believe that.
No.
Yes.
People our age hate that.
Okay, well, let's say it like this, because I actually do want to correct myself on that, Paul. Is you say, Jay, you will never deadlift a grand. It's not necessarily do I think that no matter what, I will never deadlift a grand. I don't think that I, Jay Nira, am willing to do the things that I would have to do to pull 1,000 pounds.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, if I were to do that, I would have to dedicate my life to deadlifting. I'd probably have to gain 80 pounds.
Or more.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, do I think it's absolutely impossible? I don't know. But I know that I'm not willing to do those kind of things.
Ah.
Something other than M&M's.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, Jay likes potato chips.
Pringles.
I swear to God, he told me a story about how he ate a shitload of M&M's.
That's me. I'm the M&M guy.
You do eat a shitload of candy.
No,
you
not
eat
You're thinking of Willie and the Reese's.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
But you did jump in on the Reese's stuff.
I had a few because they were on the desk.
You weren't a stranger to the Reese's.
Oh, it's peanut butter, man. Come on.
And so therein lies the other part, right, Jay? Is like it's easy to identify a goal, right? The hard part is actually admitting what you're willing to sacrifice, right? Like lots of people have goals and say, "This is my goal," but what will you actually sacrifice for in your life?
And that's the biggest criticism I see about my training style is, well, I don't want to fucking train 6 days a week. Well, then what the fuck are you doing reading my blog? Like, why do you even give a shit about what I have to say? Because everything I have to say is how to be fucking awesome. So if you don't want to be awesome, then fucking move on to some T-Nation or Red Contreras' fucking glute shit or anything else. But why would you read my shit and criticize it for, like, well, I have fucking kids and this and that? Well, then I don't have fucking kids because I like lifting weights. I have a dog that I feed chicken constantly because I'm eating fucking chicken constantly.
Right.
Like,
so
it fits into my lifestyle.
Right.
If it doesn't fit into your lifestyle, then why would you criticize it?
No, that all of this is actually tied in. We're all saying the same thing. Is that
exactly
right? Is that you're going to have goals, right? Okay, so for those goals, like if I tell Jay, like, Jay, you're never going to deadlift 1,000 pounds, and Jay will say that may or may not be true, but it's probably true because I'm not going to make the sacrifices I need to make to give myself a shot at that goal, right, Jay?
Exactly.
So therein lies the rub, and Jamie's saying the same thing right now. Is that Jamie say, well, okay, maybe I could deadlift 1,000 pounds. I don't know. The only way I would know is if I made a pursuit of doing nothing but deadlifting for the rest of my life, and made all of these sacrifices to do that. And I'm not. That's
absolutely not what I'm saying, Paul. I'm saying, fuck you, Paul. I'll do it.
I'm saying, listen to me, Jamie. I am telling you right now. I am telling you, no different. Here, I'll throw another one out there. You will absolutely never bang Adriana Lima. It will not happen. Okay.
I don't have any idea who that is.
It doesn't. Man, that's right. You won't bang her. I'm telling you.
I certainly won't. Like some broad in Argentina, not gonna trip and fall and land on my dick.
Oh, she's awesome. She's awesome. That's fine. I'll name somebody. Name somebody that you want to bang more than anybody in the world.
Jessica Biel.
You're not gonna bang her ever.
I'm absolutely never gonna bang her.
You're never gonna bang her.
I have a negative amount of game.
Okay,
I have the least game of any person.
Okay, so I'm asking you a question. So then, are you admitting that there are limits? There are limits in your life.
They're not physical limits. They're the intellectual and emotional limits.
There's physical. Yes, you have physical limits. You're not ever going to run a 1 minute mile.
Yeah, my dick is not going to stretch to Jessica Biel's vagina. It's never going to stretch that far. I will give you that. And I probably won't ever run a 1 minute mile, but I hate fucking running.
Right. And you're not ever going to bench a grand.
No, but by the same token, you're right. All right, I'll give you that. I'll give you what you're saying.
Right.
I will not do what it takes to do that.
Right.
And
what
we
I'm
all
getting
know
is people
stories
always
about people who fucking do crazy shit, and none of us are willing to jeopardize our health to the degree that they're willing to jeopardize their health in order
Right.
to do those things.
And actually, you know what? I think Jay put a better spin on it than I do because everybody takes it in such a negative way when I say it. Jay put a better spin on it than I do. Is that maybe you can or you can't do those things, but what it comes back to is the part that I said before. Is I'm not willing to do the things to give myself a shot at it. Right? Like that's really the whole thing. It's like if I tell Jamie, well, you can't bench 500, well, Jamie's benching 400, right? So maybe he can bench 500, but he might have to do a lot of very uncomfortable things in order to give himself a shot at 500, right?
Yeah, and it's certainly never going to be as easy as Brantley Thornton makes it. That son of a bitch.
Right.
Absolutely. Like I look at something as simple as cutting weight in powerlifting. All right, in New Orleans, Louisiana, I watched Dan Green come down from like the 240s, make weight at 220, and then by lifting day he was like 243 or 245 again. And
he looked like he was 300 pounds. He was so fucking big.
Yeah. Oh, he's fucking huge. You made Cade look smaller, and Cade was in the weight class above.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm looking at that, and I'm looking at him like sweating when we're going out for drinks later that night, walking around. He just looks like he put his body through a lot and looked unhealthy to me. And I was like, man, like he deserved it. He deserved that cut. Like he worked hard for it. I'm not willing to do that just yet. So.
Yeah, and I even asked you at that meet, why didn't you cut to 198? Because you walk around at like 222 or something. Shit
226,
like that.
yeah, 226.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, you could cut to 198 and break every fucking world record that ever happened in that weight class and make it look stupidly easy and just be this Neanderthal walking out there and just wrecking fucking weights, and nobody had ever touched those numbers. But you just don't care enough to do that.
Well, there was this one meet where my buddy Greg Doucette. You guys know who Greg Doucette is?
I know the name. Yeah.
Yeah,
from Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and he's an amazing bench presser, one of the best in the world. And he walked around at, I think he got his weight up to 216 or 217, and then he made the cut to 198 for our Canadian Nationals. And he's a good buddy of mine, so I was bringing him. Me and him were going together to the weigh-ins and stuff. And he could barely walk. He was cramping up. He didn't make weight by a pound. So he put the suit on him. He's trying to sweat. He's spitting in a cup and just cramping up. And I thought like he couldn't get up. I literally had to pick him up and put him on the scale. And there was a while where I was worried about this guy because I know the diuretics and stuff he's taking. And I was just like, this is fucking insane. I'm like, I would not risk my life in that way for powerlifting. So.
And I will say the same thing about like Eric Talman making 148 at Rum, and I quit at 170, and maybe I could have made 165 if I like had kidney failure, but I'm not gonna fucking do that. Like it's not something I give a shit about. At the end of the day, like I compete at powerlifting just to prove that I'm better than everybody else. It's not because I'm in there to collect fucking trophies, because I really don't give a shit at the end of the day. It's just all it is I'm proving I fucking know what I'm talking about.
Right, and I mean, that's kind of what I mean. Like I said, coming back to all of that, it comes.
By the way, why do you guys compete?
Why do you compete in powerlifting, Jay?
Oh, you don't want to answer that one right away? Got to deflect, think of it. I just do it because I was looking for something. I stopped training for bobsleigh, and I was looking for something, and it just sounded perfect because it was what I was already doing. I was just trying to get stronger. Like every goal I had was just about getting my clean higher, my deadlift higher, more pull-ups, more weighted pull-ups, stuff like that. And so when I saw this,
why you compete.
Yeah, so when I saw this, I was like, this makes absolutely perfect sense. I get to lift weights, and I get to show people how good I am at it. Because if I walk around and I'm just doing stuff in the gym, no one really gets to see that. So now I get to showcase it, and it's fun because I just get to see how good I can get.
Kind of similar is the reason why I started competing was because I wanted to give my training more of a purpose. I mean, I wanted there to be a bigger reason for why I was training other than just I'm going into the gym because I love the gym. I wanted to have a a bigger purpose for training anymore. And since I quit playing football and I wasn't doing anything quote unquote athletic anymore outside of the gym, I wanted to at least be able to have a reason why I was training and having a purpose for it, other than just privately, okay, I want to hit these numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I agree completely. I put myself in the same part.
Yeah, and I mean, it was just, it's when you take I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but if you go a really long time without competing, I find that training starts to get, you get more complacent.
I actually enjoy training more when I'm not training for a meet.
But you did a lot of meets very close together for a while, right?
Yeah, but I never once liked competing. The only reason I competed was just to shut mouths on the internet. It wasn't because I enjoyed it. It wasn't because I wanted to showcase my skills. It was just because fuck the internet.
Yeah, I mean, everybody has their own flavor, right?
Which I find insane that anybody else would compete for any other reason, because it costs money. You have to travel. It's not a lot of fun. The meets are fucking slow. They're boring. Occasionally you meet cool people. Like at the last meet, I hung out with Jay and I hung out with Willie, and that was a good time. Like we had an awesome time at the bar after the meet. But it wasn't at the meet that we had a good time. It was after the meet. I mean, it was cool to see Willie like in jeans pulling 585 for no reason whatsoever with no warm up. Like that was fucking cool. Like Willie's a beast. I would love to compete against Willie, but the two of us would be competing for entirely different reasons, because Willie specifically doesn't compete for the reason I compete. He posts videos on the internet to show how fucking good he is at lifting. He doesn't give a shit what people think.
Yeah, and that's what I mean by everybody has their own flavor.
I would actually say the opposite, and I'm saying this because I think you should call him out. I think he cares too much what people think, and he isn't competing because he thinks he won't beat certain people, or he's not sure if he'll get the same numbers. And I'm saying this in case you're listening, Willie, because I want you to fucking start training again and compete, motherfucker.
So why is he competing against Brantley? Like, why wouldn't he compete against me? Well, like, Brantley's in a league of his own. In knee wraps, the kid's literally unbeatable. There's not a person on fucking earth who could touch that guy. Yeah, so why won't Willie just compete against me when he knows for a fact that at least he can hang with me on the deadlift? Like, that would be a competition. That would be fun. Like, I would have fun competing against Willie.
Yeah, I think so. When we're talking about like the ego and the self-esteem, all that stuff earlier, to him, he set his we set our standards really high in my gym. Between him, me, and Kate, we set our standards extremely high. We don't talk about low numbers. Like Cade, all we say to Cade is 400 kilo deadlift better fucking happen next meet. And you got 900 in you, that's what we want to see in the deadlift. So for Willie, I wrote his goals on the board. We set the standards really high. And I told him, like, you're going to squat 600, you're going to bench 400, and you're going to pull 750. And within a week and a half, he erased it because he didn't want to look at it. So when you set that standard too high, I think, just like we're talking about those inflated bubbles, I think he doesn't want to risk not being able to have been better than he was before. And he's already lifted such good weights for his weight class, right? Like a 727 deadlift at 181, 4 times body weight, whether or not it counted by the judges is irrelevant. He fucking stood up with it. And to him, that's his standard. I think he's like scared that he can't get back up there.
So Willie,
before I came on the scene, Willie was the shit at 181. Like, nobody had come near him at 181. So it only makes sense that the two of us would compete against each other. I'm dying to compete against him. And I don't give a shit about competing against people, but I actually like Willie, and I think it would be fun.
Yeah, well, you should email him and say this shit to him, because he's doing weird shit in the gym right now.
So basically what Willie's driven by, he is driven by his fear of failure.
Maybe. I don't really know. All I know is that he's not competing, and he's always changing his strength.
What I'm getting back to is you said that the reason why he doesn't compete is because he's afraid he won't be able to live up to a certain standard.
To the standard he set for himself.
Yeah, and so his fear, he's actually driven, or I guess he's guided by his fear. Like, he's controlled by it.
I would say controlled by it, not guided, because it's holding him back.
I think Willie's actually afraid of himself.
Yeah, very true. I feel weird talking about someone who's one of my friends for so long at length. It's like talking behind someone's back. But
We're
yeah.
right out in the open, so we're really not talking behind his back.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I've only met the guy like for the couple of hours we hung out, and it was fucking awesome. Like he's a fucking lunatic, and we had a great time. And he and I have very like similar, weird, overly spazzy energies. So, but he made me seem positively like calm, which blew my mind because I've always been the like spazzy terrier guy in every conversation that I've ever been in. So having Willie like constantly like coming at me like crazy, like I got 11 million things to say to you. I want to say them all at once. That was awesome. And so, but hearing Willie talk about himself, like he's always trying to slow himself down and chill himself out, and it seems like he's afraid to be as awesome as he can be. And I think a lot of people are like that.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And it's like a lot of people are like that fear of like as you guys say, that fear of failure. And that's the scariest thing. People don't want to take that risk, and they'd rather not change.
Yeah, and I mean, people are generally either they're driven by fear of failure or they have a lack of drive due to complacency. That tends to be the two biggest problems most people have.
Yeah.
And so, with that said, we're running at 90 minutes on this topic. So,
Yeah, when we intended to go, what, 12?
Yeah. So we got all right. So let's finish her up then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people avoiding pain instead of seeking pleasure, avoiding the pain of defeat instead of seeking the pleasure of success. What do we got?
Email Willie Albert and tell him to compete against me.
Actually,
That
Jay,
would be a very good idea.
Actually, Jay, that's a great point, and I want people to try to envision this if they can. Most people think of success and failure as a road, right? Like you're going down this road, and then you come to a crossroad, and then when you get to the end, either you succeeded or you failed. Where generally what the road looks like is a zigzag, and it's failure, 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 failure. Oh, success! Finally.
And there is no end.
Yeah, I mean, because what happens after success, guys? Really, like when you set a goal for yourself and you hit it, what happens next?
You look to the next thing.
Exactly. So, and then what happens along that same road? What happens? It's the same thing, right? Failure, 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 failure. Because you don't succeed until you figure out all the things that you need to do to actually succeed, and that almost never happens right away.
And I'm living proof of that because I failed twice trying to break the 165 record. I failed twice at getting to 165.
Right, and still, I mean, it never happened, right?
Never happened.
Right.
I got to 168. That was the closest I got.
Okay, and so your thing is that did you determine eventually that you just were not going to try to break the 165 record, or did you say, okay, I learned something, I'll have to do something different? Which one?
I think you talked me into eventually moving up to 198.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because I told you, Jamie, you're too big to go to 165 anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're like, are you like 204 right now?
Somewhere around in there.
Yeah, so you're like 205. So yeah, I mean it's pretty much out of the ballpark. And the other thing is like I want to see Jay get the 220 record. I really do.
I'd like to see Jay get the 198 record, frankly.
I think Jay could do the 190. I think he could easily go after the 198 record, but he just has to be willing to make the weight cut.
It wouldn't even be going after it. It would just be making the weight cut, and then he'd get it. So.
But what I mean by that is that because Jay's never done a weight cut that big, you don't always know what you're going to feel like the next day.
I would just say you feel fucking awesome after you cut weight. You feel fucking awesome.
I felt terrible.
That was because you didn't recoup correctly. Because you were coaching your daughter, which is awesome.
Right.
But you were busy with coaching your daughter. You weren't busy with like stuffing your face with as much pizza and fucking Powerade and whatever you could possibly get in your body. You weren't doing that. You were coaching your daughter and helping her, and you were being a good dad, which is awesome. But you fucked yourself on your meat.
Yeah, you know what? That's okay because I wouldn't give that up for the time that I got to spend out there with her.
And that's why I don't have kids.
Right.
Because I'm a selfish piece of shit.
I want to get back to that because you were saying that thing about the road with the zigzags and all the failures, the obstacles. I don't know if you guys read my interview that was in Power Magazine this month.
No, I want to though.
Oh, fuck both of you. Well, I'll email it I'll email
Yeah,
a
I was
PDF.
just extremely bitter that I haven't been interviewed by
Anyways, I
Tom
say
Hanks.
something in it. I wish I could remember the exact words, but it asks for like, what's my advice to people getting into powerlifting? And I say this goes out for anyone trying to accomplish anything. I say embrace the process. A person with high self-esteem understands that there's going to be obstacles and has no entitlement. There's nothing is free. Just fucking keep your eyes on the prize, pretty much kind of shit. And since we're talking about self-esteem and bad narcissism has too big a gap between ego and self-esteem, that inflated ego. I just find that people who have that big ego are extremely entitled and short-sighted. So they hit that first obstacle and they quit. And because they don't have that high self-esteem, they don't believe in themselves, that when they hit that first plateau, they're going to keep going. And that is all.
That's a good point. That's a damn
your own shortcomings are like the same thing that's going to bring about your death because you don't believe in yourself. That ego you built up, is the second you think that you're not going to meet it, that standard, that goal that you set, the second you think you're not going to meet it, if you don't have a good self-esteem, you're going to quit and you might as well just kill yourself because you'll never amount to anything if you keep living like that.
Jay first off, number one, all of that was really awesome. Number one. And then Jay is really fitting in well because he just said if you can't do all that, you might as well kill yourself. So, Jamie, somehow you have infected him.
44 Magnum.
44 to the chest.
You know what's fucking crazy, Paul? You got completely in my head because I didn't think to myself for 1 second that there was any possibility of my supplement company could fail. And so you all of a sudden started asking me, well, what are you going to do if it fails? And my only thought was walk out in the fucking woods and blow my brains out. That's it.
Right.
Because what else could I possibly do?
Yeah, and your answer was it won't. And I didn't argue with you. Do you notice that I didn't say what I wanted you to say out of that was I said, well, what if it fails, JB, what are you going to do? And you said it can't. Actually, you didn't say it won't, you said it can't. And that was what I was trying to get out of you during that conversation, right?
I thought you were trying to get go back into IT.
No, because what I was getting out of you out of that conversation was I said, Jamie, what do you do if this doesn't work? And you said, it can't. It can't fail.
It literally cannot.
Right, and that's what I wanted to get you to say. Was like, it can't fail. And I'm like, okay, how do you, because I asked you, I said, what do you do to make sure it can't fail? Because I can show you the chat. It's like, what are you going to do to ensure that it does not fail? And that...
Congratulations on getting in my head and thinking, all right, so now there's an option, I walk out in the woods and blow my brains out. So thank you for that.
Well, if you do, I'll punch a bitch in the face in the bar.
I'm going to do a 44 Magnum. No, I'm not even going to do a 44 Magnum style. I'm going to get a Barrett 50 cal and just fucking do it upright. Like, toe in the trigger.
Well,
I will work on stretching so I can get my toe in the trigger, and I'll make it happen.
You would have to do a bullet to the chest. It would only be fitting.
With a 44 Magnum, it would be like a fucking cannon round to the chest.
So, but you know what? I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I will be.
So I want to say...
Fuck you for being an naysayer, Paul.
Should be quiet. So I want to say first off, I think we had a great discussion.
That was the longest short podcast ever.
Yes.
But we maintained some focus.
No, you know what? Actually, I would like to thank Jay as for the one that actually has kind of helped keep us on topic because we usually get so far all over the place. But man, we really covered some awesome stuff there.
Jay and his Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, and his sticky note. You know what? He's throwing out good ideas. So, with that, we'll wrap up. Anything in closing, fellas?
Nope. Have a good self-esteem.
we didn't even talk about women. We didn't talk about Canadian women.
You know what I will say to women? Walk like you're Beyonce. Walk with your chest out and your ass out. Because there's nothing less attractive than a woman who is hunchbacked, like skulking around. I'm not saying that I'm not saying anything sexual. What I'm saying is it's horrifying to see a woman who hates herself that much. It's upsetting.
Okay, you know what? Honestly, man, what you're saying there is what I said earlier. Women walk around like you're beautiful.
Exactly.
Walk around like you're beautiful because if you believe that you're beautiful, that's what you'll project.
And we're not going to get into the whole fit at any size thing, but even fat girls, walk around like you're fucking hot and good shit'll happen.
Dude,
just don't yell about it.
Project positive energy. That's a big.
Exactly.
Project positive energy and walk around like you're beautiful. That's fucking awesome.
Just
What?
please don't yell about it on Facebook. That's all
Keep
we
saying
ask.
shit. This is funny as hell. Jamie keeps saying like random shit, and Paul, you keep trying to clean it up and put it into a nice sentence.
That's you know what we've been doing that for 8 years now.
Yeah, and Jay just keeps trying to fucking stay out of the limelight, and he's like, nope, CrossFitters, I'm not saying anything about fat girls or anybody. I don't even have a penis.
All right, and you know what? Just in closing, I want to say anybody out there that has an incredibly dry mouth, Jay Nero wants to talk to you.
Exactly.
All
He wants that all over his non-existent penis.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks, guys. We'll have this out there ASAP.
Later.
Later.
Paul Carter has a huge penis.